Hi, you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope that you are all well today. I hope that you are taking some time out to enjoy yourself today, and hopefully, you are relaxing. Please take some time out to relax, to gather yourselves to go into the next week. So, today's word will be about expectations, and the scripture I have for this is Galatians 5 and 16. And it reads, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." And gratify means give someone pleasure or satisfaction, meaning to please or to satisfy. So this word is more so of a self-examination of, what are your expectations? The definition of expectations is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Belief or assumption. Um, and we also have to ask ourselves, to are our, you know, expectations driven by our insecurities? And I feel like this is a question that, a lot of us don't ask ourselves a lot because um we have never been really confronted with this type of question, if that makes sense. So we know that the definition of insecurity is uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, lack of obedience, self doubt. So, meaning you are expecting a level of something that only exists in your brain by a perception that you have or desire. Desire means to wish, to want, to yearn. Is your expectation based off of a insecurity that you have? So, meaning, what you think, is that really real? So, I wanted to give an example of, porn and the expectation. This is just an example that I feel that's quite popular. A lot of people watch porn. So, people that watch porn, and have been doing so for so long, they have a certain expectation of what they are looking for in a spouse because they have filled their minds with a self expectation that they want, something that meets their desires and their insecurity. So they begin to go out and they begin to search for these type of people that pleasure them um, in a way that may not be real. So we know that the porn industry and any entertainment industry, is not real per se. So we can be looking for things in people that may not be real. So, actually trying to look for love when you have all the seeds and you're looking for the characteristics of lust, if that makes sense. So, and that would be more so of a false expectation if you're trying to look for true love, but your expectations is rooted off of something else, off of your insecurities and your desires. So you're looking for someone and you have a certain expectation that may not even be able to be met because it is based off something that is not real. Because we know porn stars are actors, everything's not real, and even just actors in general, everything is not real. So we have a perception of these people in our mind of things that they can do and how they play certain roles. You know what I mean? We put and make up our own things in our mind of people, of what we want them to do, how we want them to walk, talk, act, believe, whatever. So taking the time to step back and think, are your expectations more so off your insecurities? And our securities can play a big role in our lives. it can cause us to isolate ourselves sometimes, or sometimes it will cause us to be associated with certain people that we would not normally associate ourselves with, but we feel comfortable. So we um, hang around people that fit our insecurities. We hang around and do things that fit our insecurities so that we feel comfortable. When we have insecurities, we want to feel safe. We want to feel comfortable. We don't want to grow. We don't want to feel like we have to change. We want something stable and something that is consistent within our expectations so that we can feed our insecurities, so that we can stay where we are. But we know that once we step outside of our expectations and our insecurities, we are forced to grow and go forward. So we, sometimes get too scared to move forward in certain things. So sometimes we set a false expectation of something, and a lot of times it's based off of our, insecurities about a thing, a person, place, or whatever it is. So I would encourage you, today, let's think back, your expectations on things and people, and whatever it is in your life that you have an expectation on. Think of what is the root of your expectation. Is the expectation off of an insecurity that you have, and do you want to just stay in a safe place, or the reason why you only want to do something is because you have an insecurity, and by doing that it makes you feel secure, type of things. So we have to examine ourselves and remember that we have to have realistic expectations that are not rooted off of our insecurities, if that makes sense. So with that being said, you guys keep going forth and keep this in mind, and examine your lives, and pray to God and ask him, Lord, is this word for me? Am I having false expectations that are rooted off of my own insecurities? You know what I mean? Am I projecting my insecurities and false expectations onto others in any type of way, shape, or form, or even in just certain situations? God, help me to see what it is that I need to see. Help me to see my insecurities, those type of things. So just talk to God like that and ask him, to release what you need, so that you can get a better understanding of, where you are and what you need to be doing. So going to God in prayer to know if this word is for you, so that you can get free from those false expectations and continue to go forth and relieve yourself from this. You know what I mean? It can be so tiring. It can be so tiresome, trying to keep up with our own insecurities and our own expectations. And this can go down from the way we wear our hair, from our nails, from our clothes, to our shoes, the way we do this, the way we do that. We buy this, we buy that. You know what I mean? Sometimes people only do things because they have a false expectation, or they have an expectation to keep up with their insecurity. So they want to wear their hair a certain way. They want to dress a certain way. It may be, the person in all these expensive clothing, expensive shoes, or they're buying these expensive cars, or they only post certain things because they want to be presented to other people in a certain way. They want to look a certain way because their insecurities won't allow them to be themselves. So don't let this be you. You know what I mean? Everyone has insecurities. Just be yourself. Don't be the person that is trying too hard to put out a persona that, you're doing this, you're doing that, you have this type of lifestyle, and whatever it is that people do, thinking that having people think that you have a certain expectation or a certain type of lifestyle, which you don't. You're putting a false burden on yourself. You know what I mean? So hopefully you take this word if this is you. And sometimes people don't even know it's them, but some people do know that know. I pray that you take this word and say, I'm going to be myself today, or I'm going to be myself moving forward. My expectations will no longer be rooted off my insecurities. You know what I mean? It's time to be authentic, and it's time to stop trying to be like the Joneses. It's time to stop trying to show flow temporary things, as in things that you really don't have, a lifestyle that you really don't have. And sometimes people only post things a certain way to get attention because off of their insecurities. They want to attract a certain type of attention. They expect certain things from certain people, and when they don't get it, you know what I mean, it makes them feel insecure. You know what I mean? We have to be grounded in God, you know what I mean, because he gives us everything that we need. He fills us up, he vindicates us. He is our stronghold and our refuge. And me saying all of that, someone with insecurities may feel like, okay, she's just talking. What does that actually mean? But you know what I mean? Actually getting up and saying, um, writing down what you like about yourself. Writing down some things you want to fix about yourself. Taking some steps to work on those insecurities by yourself, and not always trying to have a person validate you. You know what I mean? Trying to validate you out of an insecurity, and a lot of times that does not work. Most of the times it will leave you in a place of your insecurity going to a higher level, or other insecurities being added on to the insecurity that you always have. So this is for the person that has expectations rooted off of their insecurities. It's step back and take some time for yourself. And that's why I always say, take some time for yourself, relax. It's time to get to know who you are as a person, who you are as an individual, without the kids, without the spouses, without the family, without the job, without all of that. It's really to get to a place of remembering who you are, but then also seeing and recognizing who you are becoming, and being okay with that, so that you can be comfortable with the change that comes with it. Nobody's perfect. People always have something to say, whether you are changing or staying the same. Change always change. So wouldn't you rather change and get rid of those insecurities that keep you bound, that keep you in a certain tax bracket, that keeps you in a certain friendly circle, that keeps you in a certain way of thinking, in a way of doing things? Because I know that, you know what I mean, you have, big dreams and big wishes to do a lot of things, but sometimes our insecurities and our expectations stop us, because we feel like, I'm not worthy, or, I'm not going to make it, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. If you have a mindset that is limiting yourself, you know what I mean, you're going to stay exactly where you are. So we have to get into a place where we are speaking positivity in our spirits, and in our minds, and speaking forth life. You know what I mean? Going forward for the futures. We are to call those things that are not as though they are. So we have to speak these things into existence. You know what I mean? If you want to do something and you want to elevate in life, you know what I mean? The first thing we have to remember is to be authentic. God made us to be who we are. So we don't have to try to be someone else. We don't have to try to put up a persona that we have this or we have that. Our life is not, it is not us trying to prove a point to anybody. We are trying to prove a point to ourselves that we can be better than we were yesterday. And I feel like a lot of us miss it. We miss the mark. We miss the understanding of things, the understanding of life, but it is not to compete with one another, but it is to learn from one another and to love one another. So we are helping each other out while we are on this journey. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing. It is not, we don't have to compete. We all have a life to live, and we are to live it to the fullest. And once our time is up, it's up. We don't have any more time when it's up. So you can't go back and say, oh, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. I wish I wasn't so worried about this or that and this and this and that. It's like you have to get to a point, you have to act like every day is your last day and live it how you want to, not worrying about the expectations of someone else, not worrying about what people are going to say, what people are going to do. If it is making you happy and it is elevating you in your life, do it. You know what I mean? Be you, be authentic. And I feel as though God really wants a lot of us to be authentic, no matter how weird or how crazy or how kooky we look. God wants us to be us. He does not want us to be like the world. We can show all these fancy things all day. We can say all this nice and fancy stuff all day, but God is saying, I want you to be you. So stop being afraid to be you. And I know some people are afraid, and these insecurities come from such a young age. You know what I mean? Meaning we have to wear our hair a certain way, we have to dress a certain way, we have to do this, we have to do that, look for this type of person or that type of person, be friends with this type of person, only associate with these type of people. We all those worldly expectations that, you know what I mean, that really comes down to, it doesn't even matter. And because half of those people aren't even happy with themselves or even happy with the lifestyle that they have. And maybe every time you try to bring something up, they're always trying to downplay you. You know what I mean? So be you. You know what I mean? Even if you lose some people along the way, they were never your friends anyway. It is better for you to live a life that you are happy and you are excited by, that you're able to get up every day and say, you know what, Lord, I'm excited to get up. I'm living the life I've wanted to live my whole life. I'm not living off no one's expectations. I'm not living off my insecurities. I'm living life doing things that I want to do, type of things. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want to have that type of life? We have to get out of the world and get into the Word, because the Word will show us, how to live, what is acceptable, what God wants you to do. You know what I mean? God gives us, such amazing wisdom. You know what I mean? He provides for us in many different ways that we can't even express with our mouth. You know what I mean? He brings people that will help us, that will understand us. He will bring us, our appointed friends and the people that we need to push us, to mold us, to, be with us, to help us when we're having down times. He will bring the people that we need, and not us seeking after the people that the world deems acceptable, or you want to be associated with this person because of how they look. You know what I mean? Worldly type of stuff. Dressing a certain way because that's what's deemed acceptable. You know what I mean? Buying certain things and posting certain things, or whatever it is, just because the world is saying it's acceptable and that's what we are supposed to do. And just because you post something and you get no likes, so what? If it's something that you like and it's something that you believe in and something that you enjoy, do it. Post it all day. Read it all day. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Do something for you. It's time for you to start looking out for you and what you enjoy. You know what I mean? And not what other people find or tell you it is okay. You know what I mean? It's time to be you and stop worrying about the expectations of others and stop living your life on your insecurities and get out there and live the world as God has, commanded us to do. He wants us to go out and live and breathe. He wants us to enjoy this world to the fullest. Everything that He has in this world, it is for us to enjoy. We know that the battles that we go through in this world, it is the Lord's. So we are to, war in the spirit, and we are to keep walking, because we know that, we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in high places. So we are to live. And I stress that, we all have to remind ourselves, just live. 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 That's it. Just get up and do something different. Get out of your false expectations or the expectations of your insecurity and just live. Stop trapping yourself in the house. Stop trapping yourself with these certain type of friends. Stop trapping yourself with this certain type of lifestyle that you can't even keep up with. Or, this certain type of persona that you can't even keep up with. Just live your life how you want to, even if you're a loner. God will bring people that you need and people that love you and truly love you and truly respect who you are as a person. Not someone that's trying to respect your pocketbook. Okay? So with that being said, be encouraged and be you. Okay? Until next time.